Hello, UAE Grow Your Finances community.
where we discuss how to make your money work for you as opposed to the other way around, and how best to grow your finances within the UAE. Here, we like to flip challenges around and create ideas, opportunities, and possibilities so that we can all succeed together because there are enough seats for everyone at this table. Disclaimer, we are not financial advisors and do not offer any type of professional advice. We only hold discussions around the topic from personal experience and invite guests to provide information and context around ventures we are personally involved in or interested in. Speaking of guests, today we have such an exciting guest. We are so excited to share this episode with you because we have partnered up with one of our favorite platforms today, and that is
Steak. We are so excited to be here with Sarah. She is a really, really interesting woman, and she is here today to tell us all about steak.
we actually feel honored that Sarah has given us some of her time today because she is a very busy lady. As you'll hear in this episode, Steak have a lot going on. They are growing very quickly. They have a lot going for themselves, and we're just really glad that we're in on it.
And we've been on the platform for around 2.5 years. We were with them when they were much smaller, but they are expanding like crazy. 2.5 years later, they are bigger than I ever thought they would be. So we're excited today to show you guys a bit more about Steak and why we have invested 35 to 40% of our investment money in this platform alone.
But before our interview with Sarah, let's get into our discussion topic for the day. Today's discussion topic is quite an interesting one. And I'm going to pose the question to Ross first, but actually, it's a question for all of us to consider. How much do you value spending on your appearance? And how much do you spend on your appearance?
Well, this is a tough one. For us men, we wake up in the morning, we shower, and we get out the shower, we get dressed, we go to work. There's not much that needs to be done. I mean, definitely I spend a little bit of money on gel and wax to make sure that my appearance is good. I definitely have a haircut on a monthly basis or every 3 weeks that I have to have. I don't like it when my hair is long. So when it comes to clothes, I normally have to be reminded by my wife to buy clothes, nice looking clothes. But other than that, I really do enjoy looking good. I really do enjoy wearing nice clothes. I do enjoy making sure that I'm very presentable in terms of my shaving, my haircut, my gelling. So I love the end result of spending on my appearance, but to spend, it's a tricky one.
All right, so I'm going somewhere with this, so stay with me. Why is it that you enjoy looking good?
That's another tough question. I don't know. I enjoy it because it makes me feel good. It makes me feel good maybe because I feel like, I've achieved something when I look good.
How does it make you feel?
It makes me feel like I have gone somewhere. It makes me feel like I am at a good place in my life, much better than if I walked out the house with a hole in my t-shirt, with old shoes. Instead of that, having new everything, brand new haircut, ready to take on the world. I feel like I can take on a lot more when I look in my best.
So that's where I'm going with this. It all comes back to that confidence. We talk about financial confidence, we talk about confidence in business, and I firmly believe that when you feel the part, you act the part. So I think that this is often overlooked. I think that people overlook investing in themselves and investing in their appearance. But I actually think it's a very important part of success and business and feeling good on the day to day, which brings good energy into your life and all of the things that you want to achieve. It makes you feel like you can achieve them.
Yeah, that's definitely an eye opener, and I'm sure it will be a big eye opener for a lot of people, especially the people that are a bit stingy with their money, like myself. When I do invest money on myself, yes, once I swipe the card, it's a bit painful, but afterwards and everything afterwards it's happiness, it's joyfulness. It's I'm ready to take on the world. And definitely when I'm in that confident mindset, I normally do make more money than when I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, it's not to say that confidence comes from external things. Of course, the inner work is most important always, but that little extra bit, and usually it comes, I think, more naturally when you have that inner confidence, then your outer appearance is a reflection of that, I think, very often. And when you're feeling it inside of yourself and you're feeling that love for yourself, you want to give to yourself, you want to pamper yourself more, you want to spoil yourself, you want to express yourself and express what you're feeling inside. And I think that the world sees that and they get all of those messages subconsciously like, oh, this person is confident, this person is trustworthy, this person loves themselves. And when you love yourself, you love others. You're not going to screw others over, etc., etc., etc. It's all this subconscious stuff. Like it gives a subconscious message to people. So I actually think that it's important to spend on your appearance. So we're very different in this area. I like to invest in this area, whereas I think it's something that for you, you put obviously to the side. But I would like to encourage you and others listening to contemplate on this topic because it could actually boost your performance in all areas.
Yeah, I can see how it can, and it's very good to have these type of conversations because I can see it clearer than before this conversation. That definitely when I walk out the house and I've got that hop and jump in my step because I'm wearing my new shoes, or I've got my new haircut, or I got some really nice wax in my hair that smells amazing. Definitely, I can see how people, they take me in better, like when I have a conversation, they see me as I'm ready to do business, and I'm not talking about as I'm ready to do actual business. I'm talking about I'm ready to have a really good conversation, and I'm really to have a good time.
Yeah, and it can also swing the other way. Some people might like overcompensate on the exterior, and then it's also not trustworthy. Then you also get messages, like subconscious messages, that this is maybe some overcompensation
Correct.
for
Correct.
inconfidence,
Yeah.
So there's a fine balance, I think.
Absolutely. So definitely don't wear those 100 gold chains around the neck and and the maybe two different Rolexes around the arms, but it definitely, when I put on new clothes, when I do new things, in my life that betters my life, it definitely does have a lasting effect, and it has an effect elsewhere in my life and not just the clothes on my back.
Yeah, it's all about, I think, expressing what's on the inside and reminding yourself daily of who you are and your good qualities and all of that. So, do you remember when you started your very first job back in South Africa? It was your first proper job after studying because you worked while you were studying. But this was when you finished your studies and you got a proper job offer. You went into work and you were leaving the house, and you told me that you don't really know what you're doing and you were very nervous. You said, I don't think I know what I'm doing here. I don't think I'm qualified for this position, which I think is very normal when somebody's starting in a new position in a new company. And what did I say to you? This was maybe 2014.
Yeah, I think 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said to me, I clearly remember this, and I still do this today when I start a new job. Act like Donald Trump. Pretend you are Donald Trump. And as he walked into the presidency,
No, he wasn't the president yet at the time.
Oh, yeah, true.
I said, walk around that place like you are Donald Trump.
Correct.
And that was because I had watched a documentary about Donald Trump. And he was just a young boy, kind of trying to follow in his father's footsteps. But what I got from that documentary was that he faked it till he made it. He just talked the talk and walked the walk, and people bought what he was saying and they believed him. And lo and behold, after I told you that, he became the president of the United States of America. And everyone was saying he's not qualified.
He's probably the best salesman in the world.
He really knows how to instill confidence within himself. he knows how to self-regulate. A lot of people say he's a narcissist, etc., etc. We don't know. We cannot diagnose him. We're not therapists. We've never spoken to him. And I'm pretty sure nobody who listening has had a therapy session where they're the therapist and Donald Trump is the patient.
Definitely not. And there never will be.
And even if so, you still cannot diagnose. It takes a long time. So we can't confirm that he's a narcissist, but I can say that he certainly knows how to fake it till he makes it. And I'm not saying that that's something you should do, but I am saying that sometimes when we embody confidence and we use external resources to instill that internal belief, self-belief within us, we can actually go there with an open mind, open heart, without all the mental talk that bogs us down, and we can learn and grow and kill it and believe in ourselves. And that is exactly what you did. So I think that my advice worked.
It did indeed. And, you know, at the end of the day, on this topic, I just want to say something before I forget it. How do you get to that next level? You don't get to that next level by knowing everything. You get to that next level by getting to that next level. You know, at the end of the day, your boss right now, what does your boss have that you do not have? Probably not much more than you.
I'm guessing just the experience of doing the previous work, working in previous positions. And now he has that experience or she has that experience and they've learned from it.
Correct. And at the end of the day, you can get there, you know, but it's about taking that leap. It's about wanting it.
Once again, getting involved and just getting the experience and
persistence.
Yeah.
Persistence is
consistency.
So important.
Yes. And self-belief, of course. So,
absolutely.
Are we going to spend a little bit more on our appearance going forward?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. The next discussion topic is something that I was really interested in hearing from you, because I always used to believe that I would only buy a car, for example, when I had the money saved up, and then I would buy it in bulk and make sure that I don't have any debt. So I would want to pay it off all in one go and then make sure that I don't have to worry about any debt or any interest or anything like that. And then you told me, nah, that's not the way to do it, because cash is king. And that is something that I wouldn't have thought of with my non-financially inclined brain. I always thought I will always save up till I have enough and then live within my means. Because in my mind, paying in installments and accumulating debt perhaps, or paying interest on something, means that I'm living above my means. However, this is how the wealthy do it.
Correct. There's good debt and there's bad debt. Bad debt is something that you cannot afford. Good debt is something that you can afford. If you can afford the debt, it's the best thing to use to leverage your investments, your life, and make more money on top of that. What I mean by that, I'll break it down. If you're able to make more money than the interest that you're paying, let's say your interest is 3%, 4%. Let's say over the lifetime, you're going to pay X amount of money on your mortgage, on your loan. You need to make sure that with the money that is in the bank, you're able to invest that money and make more money than what the loan or the mortgage will cost you. And in that way, you're winning. For example, let's say I have 100,000 dirham in my bank account right now, and I go to the showroom and the guy tells me, okay, it's 90,000 dirham for the car. I say, okay, perfect, no problem. I give him a small down payment for the car and I take a loan out of it. Now, every year, I'm going to be paying 2% back to that bank to take that loan. If I am able to take that 100,000 dirham that's in my bank right now and make more than 2% on it on a yearly basis, I am winning.
Or even if it's like 85,000.
Correct. Because at the end of the day, what's the point of paying something off in full when you can use the bank's money and make more money on top of that? So let's say I make 10% from this investment that I'm taking, 10% every year from this investment that I am taking with that 100,000 dirham in my bank account. That means I'm making 8% profit, and 2% of that I'm paying towards the loan on top of the installments. So, yes, it's a longer route of doing things. Yes, you have to pay the bank a little bit of money, but you will come out on top and you will come out winning. That's the same way that people do with property. They take a mortgage on a property. Let's say they're buying an investment property and they take a mortgage for 25 years. After 5 years, they get a good offer on the property. They sell it off, they close their mortgage, they make money from the bank's money. So at the end of the day, you need to have cash in your bank account because you never know what's going to come along. An investment that comes along that is a once in a lifetime chance, you need to have cash ready. And this is something that I personally have learned over the last few years. Seeing investments go by because I just didn't have the cash because all of my money was tied up into my expenses. Now I have made myself question exactly where my money is going on a monthly basis and having at least a set percentage towards an investment every single month.
Thank you for explaining that. It really helped to open my mind. Funny story, we had an account where we were saving for our family home. So we were saving up money because obviously the down payment in this country is a large number. So we were saving up for our family home and we had a nice amount of cash building up there. And then an investment opportunity came along, and Ross said, I cannot pass this up. I have to take it. So we put the cash rather into this investment opportunity. And then we started building up our family home fund again. And then the same thing happened again. And I was really disappointed at first. Disappointed is the word. I was disappointed. But now that I see clearly and my emotions have dissolved, it was the best move because the investment is going to make us far more money and we can eventually buy a far better property. And in the meantime, we are still investing in the property market in Dubai through Stake, which is our guest today. So we are not out of the game in property. We're working smart with our money at the moment. We're taking smaller amounts, putting it into the property market when we have it available. Then we're taking our bigger amounts and putting it into investments that are really opportunistic and could make us a ton more. And then maybe eventually we'll be able to get our dream home. Let's see. But in the meantime, we have our eggs in more baskets than just one. And also, we went to go look at homes in our budget and nothing really stuck with us. Nothing moved us. We just felt that we weren't getting value for money that way. So we decided we're going to live well below our means and just rent in the meantime well below our means, not in a forever home, not in a home that we see ourselves long term, and put our money into these investments and property also so that it's secure, and see how that pans out and watch it grow there. And then hopefully we will do really well with that. And then we can find the one that moves us emotionally and that is our forever home. In the meantime, we're just investing in Stake and we're really happy with that.
And to mention, yes, find the one that we want to stay in for lifetime. But also you need to understand that we also will not be living from hand to mouth. What I mean by that is we won't be searching for that paycheck so that we can at least buy some food and put it on the table. Because this is what people do. People, they say, okay, I'm earning quite a good salary. I'm going to go and I'm going to take a big mortgage and I'm going to put it into a really nice house. 3 years down the line, they're like, I wish I didn't do that. Because at the end of the day, you need to understand that if you have just enough money to buy your perfect home, don't do it. You need to have much more than the amount of money you need for that perfect home if you want to buy it.
Yeah, because you're buying to improve your quality of life. and your
Correct.
family life. But if you're stressing about payments and you're not able to have that extra spending money, then your quality of life actually hasn't improved that much, has it?
Correct.
So we want to have a nice, passive, enjoyable lifestyle while living in a place that we're comfortable and happy in. And we're working towards that.
So that is the plan when it comes to these investments, hopefully doubling to tripling the initial investment and really multiplying our life savings.
Yeah, and we don't feel that we're missing out on the property market in Dubai if it does take off, because we do still have our investments in stake. We don't have to have that huge amount for a down payment, and we're still able to take part as investors. So that is who our guest is today, and we're really excited to tell you guys all about it and to answer all of your questions, because we get a lot of questions on the group about this. So
Let's get into it.
let's make financing fun in 3, 2, 1. Fun.
Welcome, Sarah. Tell us about yourself.
Thanks for having me. So I head up strategic partnerships and marketing for Stake, which is a real estate investment platform in the UAE.
Fantastic. There are so many questions going around the group because it's one of the highlights, I would say, Stake, because I personally have invested with them for 2.5 years. I've seen them grow from a relatively small investment company to quite a large one today. So can you tell me, what is Stake and how does the platform work?
Yeah, sure. So, like I say, Stake is a real estate investment platform. So, what we do is we bring together real estate and investing into one platform. I think that, especially when you look towards Dubai, everyone wants a piece of Dubai, they want a piece of real estate. And I think the platform combines that really well. So, we allow anyone from around the world to invest into real estate from very small amounts of money. And the way that we operate is we're essentially like an asset manager. We don't own the real estate ourselves, we manage it on behalf of our investors. So, we manage the properties either on a short term or long term basis. And then you, as an investor, you invest through the app and you get your rental income into your wallet every single month.
So let's get on to an important question that most of our group members have, and I'm sure a lot of the listeners will have today. How do we keep the funds safe? There are so many scams out there, crypto, you lose your money in one day. But how do we keep the funds safe in terms of the Stake platform?
I'm glad you asked this, one of my favorite questions. So Stake is regulated by the DFSA in DIFC. We are very, very strictly regulated. And as part of that, there's a lot of different things that we have to do as a business to make sure we comply with regulation and keep our investors' money safe. As I mentioned earlier, we're essentially like an asset manager. We manage the real estate on behalf. We're not allowed to own the real estate ourselves. Now, how we do that is if you were to, for example, we might have a 1-bedroom in downtown Dubai. We may have 250 to 300 investors in one unit. What we do is we go out to sellers, we sign a 60-day MOU once we found that 1-bedroom in downtown. We list that on Stake and we crowdfund essentially the money. So we raise all the money from our investors. Like I say, 250, 300 maybe. Once we've got that amount, what we do is we open something called an SPV. This is essentially like a new business within DIFC. So if you go on the DIFC company directory, you'll see numerous SPVs. All of the investors become a shareholder in that business. And that business then owns the real estate there on the title deed. What this does is it ring fences all of the money for our investors separate from Stake. So it's a separate entity, separate bank account. So look, if anything was to happen to Stake, investors' money is protected completely. And likewise, if anything was to happen to the asset, Stake is protected. So we've got over 100 units now, and we have 100 different businesses that are open that own the individual real estate.
Fantastic.
That's so smart.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting concept. And like I say, because we can't own the real estate ourselves, we can't really be that middleman in that process. But I think it is important that, when it comes to investing, like you're saying, there's a lot of scams, especially when you come to like crypto and that. And I think that one thing we're always keen on educating people is the process that we go through to do that, because I think that when you understand the formalities we have to go through with our regulators and setting up separate entities, separate bank accounts, I think that gives people a degree of comfort, which is important. And I think that that spirals into many different avenues. But I do think that the kind of SPV structure and ring fencing the money is incredibly important.
Yeah, it is.
Absolutely. I mean, people work so hard for their cash and you don't just want to just throw it away. And there's so many investments out there that, they go bust and you lose everything you have. So it's great to hear that if Stake happened to go bust, which I don't think it's ever going there. It's building like crazy. But I would say that your money is safe. So it's a great platform platform in that sense. What are the issues when purchasing a private property compared to, let's say, a stake investment?
It depends, right? Whether you're buying for yourself, for your own use, or if you're using it as investment property.
Let's say for an investment, yeah.
So if you're looking more towards an investment property, I think 9 times out of 10, people that are buying, where you get your information from on where to buy, what's a good asset, that is an incredibly long process to go through. And finding the right information sources can be incredibly difficult. Not saying you can't do well. There's many people that invest into buy real estate and do very well. But I think the educational process is, you really have to go through a lot to really understand what's a good asset. You have to look at the developer grade, the location, the proximity, schools. There's a lot that goes into what makes a solid investment. Beyond that, you've then got to go through the entire paperwork, tenancy management. If you've got people in that need a new boiler, you have to deal with all of that. When you come to exit the property, when's the right time to exit? And I think that when people look at a real estate investment, it's really there for them to earn passive income and build capital appreciation over time. However, it's a labor-intensive process owning a piece of real estate. And I think that sometimes some people will go for lower grade and, get a studio or something in further out areas because it's cheaper to buy maybe. But the minute, for example, a boiler goes and that's 3,000 dirham, that can be 10% of your yearly rent. A lot of these points people maybe don't think about. So I think that, investing into Dubai real estate in whichever way, whether it's via stake or whether it's individually, is a solid option. But I think there's a huge amount of work that goes into that. When you look towards stake, so we have a really big, solid asset acquisition teams. These are specialists that look at the type of stock we're buying into, the areas, the developers, the rental income, rental appreciation, capital appreciation, whether it will work on short term, whether it will work on long term. And these are experts at what we do. We've been through 100 properties now. We've learned a lot. We know what works. We know what doesn't. And we also, we're not trying to make real estate into a day trading platform. Very much no. We still believe real estate should be a long-term hold. We like to educate people and say, look, have the same mentality you would do if you were to do it yourself, but you do it in a completely hands-off way. You go on, you invest in a few minutes and you own a piece of a 1-bedroom in downtown, you get your passive income every month. So the process on how you build the wealth is the same. It just reduces a huge amount of the headache that you would have to go through yourself. And you kind of rely on us as state to make sure that we choose the right investment units as well.
Yeah, and also you have professionals all the way through. Whereas when you're investing privately or on your own, let's say, you have your real estate agent and they're protecting their interests. They sell you the property and then they hands off, they've got their commission. And then you have a property manager who you pay a yearly fee, but they're not really obligated to make sure that everything is perfect. You've paid them their fee and they're getting fee from so many people. So you have professionals on your side protecting their own interests too, which are also yours. I like that. I think a lot of the time when you're working with a professional, they kind of do the needful and then they hands off. They're just there for the pay. Very often, it's very rare that you find someone who is there to really take care of you and your interests.
Yeah, so, I agree with you. I think Dubai real estate and the agent space and property manager, I think is a very crowded market. I've met some phenomenal agents in my time, and I think there are some really solid people that do a stellar job on making sure that they're good investment opportunities and they really understand that. But look, let's not be naive. There's agents out there and property managers out there that don't do a good job, and and I think that's why I kind of said that educational process. I think you have to go through yourself. You have to take it on yourself to educate yourself on really what makes sense, because you can't rely on these third party biased voices sometimes. And I think that that process is incredibly important.
Yeah, we took 6 months to find our agent and we invested in our property investment in Dubai.
And we came across some good ones and some not
really shady
ones.
Yeah, it's like interviewing for a partner, isn't it?
Yeah, it really was quite an eye-opening process.
And we owned our studio property for around 5 years as an investment, and all you say over here is true. I mean, it was stressful at times, it was exciting at times, but it was also very stressful at times. So stake really does take all of that away. As an investor myself, the last 2.5 years, I would say stake has been a fantastic and really passive investment for myself. So,
which is what you love.
Absolutely. I'm all about the passive investment.
Yeah.
Let's talk about admin. When it came to purchasing our property, the amount of things we had to sign. After that, I think both of our arms were broken from signing hundreds and hundreds of different papers, visiting offices over and over again. So Let's talk about stake. So when it comes to the admin side, how does it compare to when you own a property and when you own a property through stake?
I mean, you don't have to sign anything.
Okay, fantastic.
So all you need to get onboarded with Stake is a passport and proof of address, and that can be from anywhere in the world. So that's all you need to do to become an onboarded investor. You clear KYC, and then you're an investor in Stake, and you have the ability to invest into any real estate on the platform. From there on, that's it. It's a completely effortless process. We've done all the checks we need to do. Like I say, we manage all the payments, all the rental income, all of the tenancy management, property management. So all it is a passport, proof of address, and then you just wait for the income to hit your wallet every month.
Fantastic.
Yeah, operational process that goes in behind Stake blew my mind when I first joined, because all of the different parts that go into actually transferring the real estate, managing the real estate, like it's a heavy operational business, you know, like the front end, the platform is incredible,
Very
but the
sleek.
operational, I've got to give them credit. It's a very
I can
solid
only
process.
imagine. Yeah. So I see a lot of people saying, but there's a fee and that's holding them back. And we really want to stress to them that that fee is so small for what you're getting behind the scenes. We really do want to bring that across to our listeners.
Yeah.
Because we appreciate that, because we appreciate passive investments and we appreciate the time. Time is money. It really is. So we appreciate that our time is spared with this platform.
Look, like we're a business at the end of the day, you know, like there's going to be fees. Like I said, there's a huge process that goes in behind it. I think one thing that is a struggle is because we kind of live in this world right now where people have made 20% gains overnight with cryptocurrency. People expect that. So when people hear, you know, 6% net yield, sometimes you think, oh, that doesn't sound too sexy.
Correct.
Oh no, that's really what's realistic. An S&P will maybe give you 10%, a global index 8%, you know? So like I think it's all about diversifying your income. And I think that, you know, there's going to be fees at different points, but ultimately like our job is to make sure that we deliver value to our investors. Like a huge part of our business is repeat investment and people wanting to reinvest. So we have to strike a right balance between, yes, as a business making money, but also just making sure that our investments are sound investments that work and deliver value.
We talk about the importance of a safe, solid foundation before you make those risky moves, which would be like the crypto world, for example. So we talk about Stake as one of our safe, solid foundations.
Correct.
And we recommend that if you're getting started, that's what you start with, a safe, solid foundation.
Absolutely. And on that same note, can you stress to us exactly what are the fees involved when it comes to owning a portion of property in Stake?
Yeah, so we charge a 1.5% fee on the initial investment, and then we charge a 0.5% annual management fee. So that annual management fee is essentially just making sure that, you know, service charges are paid, maintenance contracts, and everything is paid. From there on, your 0.5% will be deducted from your yield. So every single month when you get your income into your wallet, that will be all minus fees and money for you every single month.
Fantastic. When you talk about owning a property outright, there's some massive fees that you have to pay as a property owner, not only to buy into a property, but to exit a property. So when you compare that to the fees that Stake are charging, I mean, it's close to nothing.
Yeah.
So it's great to have a platform that can offer you this type of opportunity.
Yeah.
So when it comes to spreading the risk, I myself have around 42 different properties. So I have a stake in 42 different properties around Dubai.
Nice.
What exactly? I mean, it's amazing. But what are the benefits involved when you talk about spreading the risk when it comes to property?
So I think it's like anything, right? And I'm sure you know this better than anyone, that the diversification is incredibly important. And I think that, you know, you think of diversification and you think of like real estate fractional ownership, like Stake is one type of diversification, but you can then diversify within Stake. And I think that, look, like there's always going to be units and properties that perform better than others. Some will be short-term basis, some will be long-term basis. And I think that when you're looking at Stake and the kind of properties available, you will find that we're very particular on the areas. We tend to focus more on prime, downtown Marina, Business Bay, La Mer, but we are also starting to look at other areas that might bring more diversification, because we've got people like yourself that have now invested in numerous properties and have a lot of one bedrooms in downtown Marina, or so now we're starting to look at Arabian Ranches, for example. We've got our first townhouse there, doing very well. It's an EMA, solid community. Again,
we have personally invested in it.
nice. Nice. Yeah, I think that again that brings diversification to your portfolio. And I mean, look, like, yes, right now we're focused on residential, but our dreams and our goals is to like expand beyond that, and in terms of like the type of asset class, but also like internationally as well. So I think that the more diversification we can bring to our investors within the app serves as a great purpose for you, like building long-term wealth as well.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's
So
so
true.
exciting.
So true. So let's get on to a very, very prominent question in the group when it comes to stake. It definitely comes down to people saying they want their money at their fingertips. So they want to make this 6 to 7% profit every single year, but they also want to be able to use that money when they can, which obviously property is a long-term investment. And when you look at all the really quality, safe investments, they're all really long-term. So can you explain to the listeners out there and the group members that are saying they want their money at their fingertips, how exactly do they take the money out once they've put it into the platform?
Sure. So I think one thing that's important to note, and you touched on it there, if you're getting access to real estate as an asset class, like let's say you owned an investment property yourself, you can't pull your money out easily if, when you want to dip into that
Correct.
as a fund, go through the selling process to liquidate their funds. It's a very similar process with stake. And I think I said this earlier, like we're not trying to make it into a day trading platform where you can pull your money in and out. No, like real estate is a long-term hold, benefit from the capital appreciation. That's definitely what we believe in. However, we hear that this is feedback that we get from our customers, and we speak to our users day in, day out. And one of the common themes was, I want the option to liquidate my funds. Now, look, there are certain ways you could already do that on the app, but what we have launched are what we call our exit windows. Now, these exit windows happen twice a year in May and November. Right now, they're twice a year. We'll see how it goes. But essentially what we do is if you've held your investment for 12 months with stake, after that 12 months, we will reevaluate the property. We'll tell you the value of your shares. And then in those exit windows, you have the option to liquidate. For example, you might have seen a gain of 20% on your investment through capital appreciation, given the new market value. You can then sell at that market rate, or you can sell at a discount. So you have the option to sell at 5, 10, 15 or 20% discount. That's how we've structured it right now. And you have the option to liquidate. We call it more of like an emergency lever. Like we don't advise people to do that. We advise you to hold it. But look, if you need to, we can facilitate that. Now, there are other ways to exit the investment. So for example, after 5 years, we might get an offer for one of our units. And this might be that we've had an offer that is maybe 25, 30% above the rate that we bought it for the unit. We will put a vote to everybody on the app. Do you want to sell the property? If 51% of the investors would like to liquidate, and then fine, we will go ahead and represent that sale. However, typically the most common use for you to liquidate the investment would be May and November. Now, is that every day that you could do like you would on the stock market? No, that's not again how real estate works. Real estate should be a long-term hold. And I think that too often when people are trying to save and invest and build wealth, they just think I'll just nip into that and I'll just pull a little bit out here and there. It is a mindset thing, you have to just think, no, I'm putting it away. This is like my retirement fund. This is building wealth over time. Yes, the option is there if you want it, but we don't recommend you need it, because hold it, benefit from the capital appreciation. I always say Dubai has transformed so much over the last 20 years. And I'm super bullish on the Dubai market, because I do think that when you look at us on a global scale, we get compared to some huge cities. And I think sometimes people forget we are still quite small in Dubai. So I think the growth potential we have, not just in Dubai, but the UAE, the GCC region, I think we have so much. So I think, why would you want to liquidate? Holding it long term, you will most definitely benefit from the capital appreciation. You've got to also remember, right, like peaks and troughs in a market happen, like we go through market cycles. Nobody can control that. And you have to make sure that when you're thinking about investing into stake and other platforms as well, that you have your emergency fund set aside anyway, and it's more a case of this is a long-term investment.
Absolutely. And you also have, like, for example, these areas coming out from the blue, like, Jabba Ali, which is going to be a huge area. Dubai is expanding day in, day out, and it's a great place to have money in terms of property. You have millions and millions of new expats coming into this country daily, and it's fantastic to see the company grow. Me and Kim have been here for the last 8 years in Abu Dhabi, but it's very close to Dubai. So, and now being in Dubai, you can see how the property market is just exploding, and how not only the property market, everything around Dubai. It's a great place to be, and it's a great place to invest.
Yeah.
So we are very bullish when it comes to the Dubai market, and we should be, because this is where we plan to live for a very, very long time. So
I get really excited about like what properties we'll have on stake in the next 3 to 5 years. Like what units will we be listing then, because of all these new areas appearing. Your Marinas, your Downtowns, your Palms will always be your prime communities. But I get excited to think like what else will come, and I don't doubt. Yeah. Watch this space.
For sure. And then obviously you got the land. I mean, you're able to buy land in Java Ali. This is a new thing. We could never buy land as an expat. So I think this is something that probably you guys will be exploring at a later stage, which is also quite exciting to see and watch how it progresses.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. What are Stake's future plans? I know you can't tell us too much, but we would like to hear as much as we possibly can. And I'm sure the viewers are sitting on the edge of their seats right now. They also want to know, what has Stake got next for us?
Our goal is to become the go-to fractional ownership of real estate across the EMENA region. Now, yes, we're just currently in Dubai. We are looking for international expansion. So I think we'll have some very exciting news within the next really few weeks. So watch this space. But I mentioned earlier about the regulation part for us is one thing that right now is, yes, we're focused on Dubai real estate, but I think the more we can evolve and the more we think internationally, I think eventually we would love to get to a point where we can host international real estate, and I think give access to real estate in different forms, whether that be real estate through fractional ownership or funds. Our goal is to become that place to access real estate, but in different forms. And I think that whether that is just within this region or internationally, we're working behind the scenes on that. But I think our ambitions are incredibly high. We've been performing incredibly well as a business as well. And I think that we are a tech startup at the end of the day. And you've seen how tech startups are performing right now. And you do hear a lot of stories. We're in a very, very fortunate position. We've had very strong product market fit. We are growing at a tremendous rate month on month. We've pretty much already grown out of our office that we moved into about 3 months ago. So I think from a business performance and how we're doing, and one thing at the end of the day, we are a startup, but we have very strong foundations for where we're at as a business. And I think that we're lucky to be in that space when you look at other tech startups. But I think that we have really, like I say, a good product market fit and strong foundations that will ultimately fuel that growth, whatever that looks or sounds like.
Yeah, and I think also if you go international, it'll attract investors to Dubai as well. So that's really exciting for Dubai.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's actually quite interesting. So about 50% of our investors are within the UAE. The 50% are externals. Some of our biggest markets are Saudi, Kuwait, Bahrain. France is huge for us. UK is huge. We're starting to see more from Germany. So I think that we're at a really nice stage where people are interested in Dubai. I always say the Dubai government are the best marketing branding agency I've ever seen. I think they've done a phenomenal job. Yeah. So people are bought into Dubai. People also, real estate, people have a strong affinity for real estate and investing in real estate as well. And I think that we're catching a wave at a perfect time when there's that interest in this market, and from Europe and the US as well. And I think I feel like we're catching the wave at a good time where that interest is there in Dubai and real estate. And investing.
And you can see it on the platform. I mean, we were speaking about it earlier. I joined Stake around 2 to 2.5 years ago. I can't really remember, but around that time. And when I joined Stake, it took months to fund one property, and now I look at Stake, they have 4 properties going at the same time. Properties are being funded weekly. It's massive to see the growth. And you're not talking about small investments here. You're talking about properties worth 2 to 3 to 4 million dirham. And that means in order to close a property, Stake has to get that 2 million, 3 million, 4 million from investors like ourselves. And it's just fantastic to see so many people live on the platform every single day.
Yeah, we're really lucky. We have a very vocal community. Onboarding sales team are very close to our customers, and we hear every single day. And we speak to our users all the time, and we speak to our customers, because at the end of the day, we're building for you. One thing that I think a lot of companies struggle with as they scale is they lose that touch point, and that's something we never want to lose, because I think everything we do is making sure that we provide value back. And I think that has fueled this community. People have a high affinity to not just Stake, but real estate as fractional ownership. It's a new model, fractional ownership in real estate. And I think that there's a lot of people that when they hear about it and get involved and start investing, there's a lot of opinions and there's a lot of questions and queries. And, we have a very vocal community. And I really hope that we kind of keep that community going.
I must say that's something that made us feel very comfortable when we had direct contact with someone in Stake that was there to help us. And,
I
you
mean,
know,
not even direct contact with someone in Stake. We had the CEO and founder chatting to us on a daily basis. When Stake was relatively smaller, he was really interested in our group. I felt that he knew that we were starting up just like he was starting up. And definitely because of like the generosity from his side on how he put us in touch with someone that could be available on our group all the time, someone that can be just a call away. And we were a small group at this stage, you know,
yeah.
is it definitely has our support. I mean, we would wholeheartedly support Stake into future expansions, and we can't wait to see it grow.
Yeah.
Just like our group is growing, growing in the right direction, both sides, and it's fantastic to be on board with such a fantastic company.
Yeah, you always have an eye out for platforms, especially in the UAE. You're always like scanning, trying, testing things. And Stake is in your top two, I would say. So Stake and Beehive are your two that you're very loyal to and you always recommend.
Absolutely. And when it comes to both platforms, I would say Stake is probably number one. I don't want to upset Beehive. However, you know, when it comes to communication, when it comes to team, and when it comes to communication through us,
Directly to the
to
customer.
us, and most importantly, because we are here for our group members. We are here to make sure our group members get what they need, and definitely Stake gives them what they need in terms of communication all over the group, in
Yeah.
terms of if someone reaches out to me, wants to chat to someone from Stake, within 5 minutes they're on the call with someone from Stake and they're helping them out.
And that's to all those people that comment negatively and saying that you're always promoting the same thing on the group. You're
Yeah.
always saying Stake, Beehive, and giving your links. That's for a good reason.
Yeah,
That's
Stake
because this is what we trust.
100%. I have to date 35 to 40% of all my investment money in Stake. So that's nearly half of all my investment money in Stake. So I would not be promoting something heavily like this if I did not believe in it.
Yeah.
And that's what I do all over the group. And we will be leaving our group referral link down below. So if you guys are interested in signing up with Stake, click the link. Make sure you click the link to sign up with the platform, and you'll get a free 250 dirham to invest in the platform. Once you have invested 500 dirham, and then you can put that whole 750 dirham into a property and start earning money while you sleep.
Anything else you would like to share with our community? We just hit 6,500 members today.
Amazing.
So we're excited.
We are excited, and we're growing by the day. I think last night while we slept, we got 50 new requests. So
Nice.
So we're
Yeah.
pretty stoked about it. So if all of these members and all of these listeners were sitting in front of you right now, what would you have to say to them?
Go on your app store, download Stake, have a look around, go on our social media, you know, see who's working there. We're really big on surfacing the people behind the brand and what we're doing. We're always iterating, bringing new features. And I think we do a really strong job, and an even better job than we used to, on communicating this to our audience, whether it be LinkedIn or Instagram. So that's Get Stake.
Let's
know,
get Stake.
Get Stake. Get.stake on Instagram. And have a look at what we're releasing and what we're doing. So download the app, do the due diligence yourself. I would say upload your passport and proof of address, clear KYC, because we are releasing properties every single week. And it might be that you've done your due diligence, you're signed up, you've cleared your KYC, you're ready. And it might just be on a Tuesday morning that we launch a villa in Arabian Ranches that you've been waiting for and you're ready to go. So I would just say we are very big on making sure people feel comfortable. Speak to our team, you know, and like ask all the questions you want to. Do your own due diligence. At the end of the day, it's your money that you're investing. But I do think that we offer a really, really strong investment opportunity for anyone to kind of diversify their income. You know, like it was August 2020, maybe July. I'd never invested before. And I just took myself onto YouTube for about 2 months, and I just learned and I researched. And if I knew your group was available, I would have joined it.
He has a YouTube too, actually.
I probably watched it. I watched so much YouTube to teach myself about like investing and the terms, because it was alien to me. And I was at an age where I'm like, I need to start thinking about this. And I like took that time to educate myself. And a part of me is like, if Stake was around back then and I had the option to do Stake would have been part of my portfolio years ago.
Definitely.
And I think that, like the more people can understand what Stake provides and another diversification option, like this, the stronger your portfolio becomes.
Absolutely. We strongly agree.
100%. And I would have to mention before we go that, guys, if you are looking at investing in stake, please, you need to understand that this is a long-term investment. Okay, don't expect to put your money in and then take your money out a week later, like we spoke about earlier. Don't even expect to put your money in and take it out a year later, because then you're not benefiting from the capital appreciation. You're not benefiting from the income of the rental coming in that you can reinvest back and compound on top of that. So make sure that you have a 5-year plan. I think this is what I personally do. I put my money into a stake property and then I have a 5-year plan. I want the money out in 5 years, and by that time I've made some decent return on the income, the rental income, and then I've made some decent returns on the appreciation once the property is sold. So I do have to leave this here because there's so many people that don't read or listen to the whole podcast, and then at the end they say, oh, but I want my money out now. I need my money for this. I need my money for that. Have a 5-year plan, guys, and then definitely jump into stake before it blows up. Be in it once it blows
Be an early
up.
adopter.
Exactly.
Sound advice.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Sarah,
Thank
for
you
your
so much.
time.
Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, it's been so informative, and I've even learned
Amazing.
from you. Even though we talk about stake almost constantly, I've learned something new today.
There's
So,
always more.
yeah. So thank you.
Thanks so much, and thanks for what you're doing. I think it's great, empowering people to like own their wealth themselves and having that community. I think that's important. I think more people should be involved.
Yeah,
you,
we
Sarah.
can't wait to hear what the announcement is. for stake.
Yeah, stay tuned.
We will be staying tuned. Definitely. We got a lot of our money there. Very good. Thank you so much, Sarah.
Thanks so much.
So, guys, just to reiterate the message, get on down to the link below, click it, sign up, verify your account, invest today, and get a free 250 dirham referral bonus from our group. And it's fantastic to have the experience with Sarah today, and we look forward to introducing you to some more interesting people as we go on. So please stay tuned.
We have a lot of surprises lined up and a lot of really juicy treats for people who are excited about making money and making their money grow. So please do subscribe and support by liking and commenting, and make sure you tune in to every episode and hear about all the possibilities available to you and all of the things that we really enjoy doing and benefiting from in terms of finance and business.
Because at the end of the day, guys, you know how the saying goes, pay yourself first because you
Are
are
worth it.
Money line.